There's not
where they went?
supposed to be an order.
Okay.
There
If there were,
well, there was, of
There was
course,
an
but
order,
having said
but
that,
it's not-
no,
it's
there's
not
not there.
important. But if there were, sometimes you can go. You can draw in a sort. You know, you can. We're used to thinking of timelines as going, you know, just straight left to right. But sometimes you can just draw them, you know, like a swirly thing, and then you can see. It at least will show the order. It might not be, and it sort of ties it together.
And if you were doing that, would you connect the boxes you just did, or just the picture somehow?
It depends. Sometimes the line, if you're drawing, you know, if you're drawing a line, well, you could draw this, and then here, and then you go, now where do I go? I have to go. You can either go into the neighborhood of the box, or just to the box. But sometimes, if you have a lot, you can, and you want to show sequence, you can do that little line.
Am I the only one not confused, but not sure about the numbers?
The lucky number.
Right, so let's tell you what that is and you can tell us how.
Okay.
So Mary really wanted to put this on number 8 because number 8 is lucky in China. And these others are unlucky and they don't have, like if you're in a building.
I mean, these numbers? Those,
Yeah.
What
So
station
number
you're on?
8 is lucky.
8 is an unlucky number, 4 is an unlucky number, so you can be in office buildings or hotels that has a 12th floor and then a 15th floor.
Right.
Oh, well, we have to
And
put 4
it
in.
doesn't have a 13th out of concession to the Westerners.
Right.
It doesn't have a 14th or 24th or a 34th floor because the Chinese consider that unlucky.
Right. So what you might do is do that as like the pictogram for it, and then put like China. In China, number 4 is unlucky, or in China, 8 is a number. You know, you can just write a little, sort of like writing dog with an arrow. You just write a little description. Okay, great job. Look at their eating, taking dog.
That's a good duck.
Right, and this is great with the capitals and then the smaller, so we can see old friends. Oh, look, this is what we got to do. And I love this because it's you know, it's a label. It says Forbidden City, but that captures it. It's got the Chinese architecture and the people in the square. Can you see that you do not have to have like a Renaissance perspective drawing of the Tiananmen Square to get the picture that this is a public space where people gather? And it works just
I thought those were
well.
dead protesters.
No, those are actually the marching Chinese.
Okay.
Right, okay, I forgot them. Okay, good job.
One thing I just want to mention about this, I think she did a really nice job of inventing an icon for old-fashioned Chinese buildings.
Yes, exactly.
You know, that was really cool.
Because right, I drew the
And then
buildings
she
and she
used
said
it
that some of them look
throughout.
Chinese, and I said, oh. And then I just did that.
Yeah, it totally works. The thing that I was going to say that I forgot to tell you is that is to be careful with diagonals, writing on diagonal, because it's actually harder to read. It's better to just basically write everything pretty much horizontal and then use this for accent. Because if you start doing it every which way, well, first of all, if you do them all this way, then people wonder why is it all, you know, angled. If you do them a lot of variety, then, you know, I've noticed people.
So you're saying right straight.
Yeah, right on the horizontal mostly.
Yeah.
So that's your default, rather than your default being a fun angle, because that's okay, it's fine. This is, you know, and I hadn't said that, but for some reason it happens every time when people get the big page. It's sort of like a big greeting card, and everybody almost always starts going, "Yay, I can write however I want." But it turns out that for our brains to process the information faster, it's better if these are for accents rather than a standard issue. Okay, great. Okay. Terrell's Family Safari?
I do it.
Great. And what do you appreciate about it?
Well, I really see that the perspective's wrong. I left, you know, I didn't know how many pieces of the story there would be, so it has too many white spaces for me now. You know, I would have made things bigger, or to put something inside the country, but I wasn't sure how many places in the country we were
I'm
going.
going to repeat the question. You ready?
I know, you want to know what I liked about it. I don't know what I really liked so much about it.
Okay, that's really...
I like the charging elephant, and I like the train, and I like
Really, look at this. There's a charging elephant. It's fantastic. There's a tiger, there's a deer, there's fowl, there's all kinds of animals in. Those are fantastic. And the train, you did a great. Look, this is brown, this is blue, this is black. I mean, this is sort of like the different parts of it. The food. You used color really nicely to separate the pieces of information. Obviously, they landed here, right, with a big family. Went on by train. We don't even need to. You know, it doesn't even. Sometimes you need to say, went on train trip to Safari, but that's clear. This is fantastic. I think the one thing that I also didn't say, which is in your notebook, but I meant to say, is about the when you're writing on a big chart, you just want to make your letters a little bigger. And if you had made if you just made everything a little bigger, you're right. You had the right idea, boom, big India. But then, because it's your very first time you've done this, you didn't know, so sort of, okay, this could have been taken up this space. You know, everything could have just been a little bit bigger, with bigger writing, and you would have been golden. But you're right, you say, oh, I lived in the white space. Positive first, positive first. You give yourself a positivity sandwich, right? These was a positive, with one little room for improvement in the middle. Love that. You guys remember the movie Magumbo? Anyway, the elephant story.
I want to actually see the actual film.
Okay, excellent work. I love this. This is great. Samosas. Oh, okay, let's do the same thing here. We can put dot points. Samosas, roti, vegetables. Okay, good job. Who's my trip in Turkey? You do it, Rebecca? Yeah. Okay, what do you like about it?
I like the ruins.
Yeah, fantastic. We know right away. Huh?
I like the boat.
I like the what? The boat on the water. Like, take me there. Take me to the Turkish island right away. Sun, boat, ruins. I'm
And the
there.
overall flow, I feel like, is okay. It's just geographically not accurate. But, and yeah, I would have used color a bit better. But it was the same thing where I didn't know how big the story would or would not get. So
Right.
I got a little caught up in the picture part of it. That was, I think, I lost in the flow. But I tried to fix it at the end with the cloud, and Bill suggested coloring the sun orange instead of blue, things like that.
That's great. That's great. I mean, one of the things that's really interesting. Everybody has a natural style. They just do, and then they have natural strengths to build on, and then they have things that aren't their natural style that they get to add on. Look at the boldness of this. I mean, some people, they just, like when I first started out, I was afraid to make big lines. I was like, I'm in the wrong place, and they're really big. You're like, boom. That's really good for charts because people can see it from 10 feet back. So, and you've got, you're using your purple for the directions. And then, as you say, one of the things that you'll learn is next time you won't make the sun blue, you'll make it orange. And I often, sometimes I'll make my pictures same thing with the boat brown. So you can pick colors in your mind ahead of time. It looks like you did blue and then you made everything blue and then went over it in color.
Yeah.
That's fabulous because you're like, oh, I don't need to make everything blue. I can make colors.
I wish I'd made the family part more prominent because that was the main thread of the story. So I tried to fix it at the end, and my text is too small.
Can we make that yellow? Ready?
Yeah.
Bill's family. You have to do it lightly or it smears, but.
I was wondering why mine were smearing every time. I must have a heavy hand.
There we go.
Oh.
Bill's family. Okay, good job. I'm looking at Cappadocia, the mountains.
Yeah, the underground stage.
Yeah, that's great.
Can I just comment? I find this one very evocative as a drawing. It's just like a woodblock print kind of. Maybe it's the boldness that you used, and then all the water coming across.
I think it's the water lines. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Get a nice flow.
I just think it's really interesting that if you decide, I like things bold, then you might have to work on, if everything's equally bold. If everything's equally bold, then I don't know what's important. But you'd have no problem making the bold stuff important. Making the bold stuff bold. Because our eyes register by contrast. That's why I say big size for the title, small size. They're looking for contrast. And anything that's a contrast of dark and light, that's where the attention goes. So if it's all the same, your eye doesn't know where to land on. Okay, whose is this?
I drew.
Yeah, great. Okay, what do you like about it?
I was trying to sort of show the trip kind of began and ended in one place, but had a lot of stops along the way, so trying to show those around, kind of like the flow of the trip, and then to capture a couple of details about each of the places.
Yeah, I love this. It's bingo, big highlight place we landed with details. What happened here? There's obviously a story. Help, taxi.
Yeah, there were no taxis, or I had to get as
special they had to stop and call another taxi. There were a lot of issues in Bolivia.
Right, so and this works well as an organization. This is smack in the middle. I mean, when you go to art school, they say never, ever, ever put your center of interest in the middle because it's boring or whatever. But it turns out that putting stuff in the middle is really powerful because at least you know right away what for charting anyway. Who cares? You know, you're not making the Mona Lisa, which is she's sitting right in the middle. But it's like what? Anyway, but by putting things in the middle, it's a really and then things around it. I find that to be really a powerful, really easy and powerful structure. You can even put like brainstorming ideas in the middle, because you could come and put a normal thing would be to put brainstorming ideas, right, title top left, and then start listing them down. But if you want to break it up, you put brainstorming ideas in the middle, and then just start sort of putting them around, and it's just a little bit different than our normal. Okay. Great work. Now we're going